This is Hannibal here with a daily combat sports news update for you. WWE Hall of Famer and AEW contracted performer Jake the Snake Roberts underwent successful heart surgery today after everything he put his body through over the years. He's still going. He's one of the good things about AEW. They take care of him for whatever reason. He's had a contract from the beginning, and he's able to get amazing medical treatment. So he's back with his ex wife Cheryl from his WWE days, and I'm happy to hear he's doing good. Check out my Jake the Snake playlist in the description of this video. Apparently, the CW network is very happy that NXT numbers are up 19% since being on CW. According to reports, they're only paying 20 to 25 grand a year for NXT content, and it's actually gone up on CW. Whereas if you look at AEW, that re-signed with WBD for reportedly between 100 and 150 million a year, they're getting lower numbers than NXT. So CW definitely got a lot more bang for their buck than WBD with the AEW content. By the way, AEW had already announced they're going to have a six show residency in Philadelphia, 6 or 7 shows in August. Now they've announced they're going to do 6 shows at a ballroom in Chicago in July. So we have seen from a residency standpoint, I guess they save money going to these smaller buildings, but it seems like to me as a viewer, it's cool the first couple times, and then again and again at the same place, you see the crowds lose enthusiasm by the end, and sometimes even in these small venues, the crowds wane towards the end. So I mean, they're getting a good deal, but to me, like it's one thing to be in a small venue a couple of times in a row, but when you're getting into the fifth, sixth, seventh time, it turns into then the Universal Studios type crowds that just aren't as good as, like, for instance, NXT. I think one of the reasons why they do better on CW is because since being in CW, they travel more, so it's not always at the performance center. Speaking of WWE traveling shows, they eliminated pretty much all house shows, and TKO executives had said they're happy going from 300 shows to 200 shows a year, and that's 200 shows with both brands. So even if you're on every single show of your brand, you're now only, I mean, who wrestles every show anyways? I mean, you're now only going to be at 100 shows a year. So it's much better for the wrestlers. For the fans, they no longer go to the smaller towns. You don't have as much personal connection with the product. And as Chico always says, I mean, they're happy about these dynamic ticket prices. They call dynamic these high, crazy ticket prices, but it cuts out members of the public that can't afford it. Like, as I said, my parents weren't wrestling fans. I've said this a bunch of times. I had to pay for tickets out of my allowance. Could a lower income family even go? And I mean that in the short term that won't hurt them, but in the long term, uh, having that personal connection with the product was part of why I loved wrestling. And I don't know if that's going to hurt them long term or not. I did do an update earlier today. There's a big hoopla going on that supposedly Sabu was having difficulty walking earlier in the day before his final match for GCW WrestleMania weekend about 3 weeks ago. And the official word is he took a bunch of kratom to be able to do the match. And GCW is taking some slack because, well, if he couldn't walk earlier in the day, why are you still letting him wrestle? Uh, there was some confusion from my earlier report, which was just short. I said he was loopy several times during the match. He said he was loopy from concussion issues. From there was a couple things gone that went wrong in the match where he took some real blows that knocked him loopy. I was not saying he was loopy from the kratom. I take kratom here and there. The kratom defenders are on it, and me saying, "Oh, kratom won't make you loopy." Well, it does give you some sense of euphoria. It is a painkiller. It's not. It might not be classified as an opioid, but if you mix it with an anti-opioid, you will have the same effects that if you mixed an opioid. It can be dangerous. And the other thing I said that people didn't hear is I don't believe that he actually just took kratom. I'm sure he took something stronger than kratom, and he just said it was kratom because like what are you going to say? Yeah, I took a bunch of whatever the more serious pain medication that if you can't put it this way, I had a back injury in Vegas from getting hit by a car when I was there. I took kratom and it did not make me not have to take a wheelchair in the airport. My back was messed up. I don't think kratom, if you have an injury bad enough where you can't walk, I don't think kratom is strong enough no matter how much you take to be able to get you to perform at a high level in a pro wrestling match. I think you're going to need something stronger than kratom. So for the kratom supporters, I do think there's good and bad about it. I do think it's the lesser of evils. But I don't think that it's something that has zero side effects and isn't addictive. And for the people who don't know what kratom is, I don't personally think he's either exaggerating about how serious the injuries were or he took something stronger than kratom. That's just my personal opinion of it. That's cool that you met Sabu, David. By the way, I am interviewing um, the author of Sabu's book at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, Kenny Casanova. Supposedly, he used the N word in his. I've told people in my personal experience around him, he throws the N word around. Supposedly, he used it in the book. I've not read the book. I'm going to ask Kenny Casanova, and it's funny. There's good and bad about Sabu, but it seems like for Hulk Hogan, they'll definitely crucify Hulk Hogan about getting caught on a tape when he didn't know he was being taped saying the N word, but it seems like some people like Sabu just might get a full pass. But anyways, guys, Brian says he took kratom to see if he could stop using oxycodone. It's illegal in Tennessee. Yeah, I don't know if it's legal in all states. I know it's legal in Kansas. I know it's legal in Vegas. Supposedly it's legal in Canada, but you can't. I don't think you can buy it that easily in Canada, whereas here in the U.S. There's smoke shops that have big flashing signs saying kratom. I don't think people really know about it in Canada yet because I did ask about kratom in Canada, uh, and people look at you like you have three heads. But anyways, God bless Jake the Snake. Let me know your experiences about kratom in the side effects and people I'm neutral towards it. Uh, so don't crucify me over just giving my thoughts, which my thoughts is first of all, nobody's saying that Kratom killed him. They're just saying he took it to get through the match. That's all that they're saying. But my thoughts of it are if he was that injured, Kratom is not strong enough to wake you up enough to do the match. Which, by the way, Joey Janela, who has a lot of friends in WWE, is also claiming a lot of people in WWE take Kratom. It's legal. And I could definitely see that because it's a good pre workout. But if you take too much of it, you will get extremely tired. So you'll get to the point where you're tired enough where you could fall asleep real easily. So I don't know. You really have to not take too much of it to have the opposite effect of having workout energy because it will give you the opposite effect of making you tired in my experience.